The Buddha's path to abundance is counterintuitive, relying entirely upon love and letting go. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. The recommended reading for this class is the essay or the blog post, Why Do We Meditate? My blog is pretty much like a what's that old saying? Like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's a haystack. So go to the download page, whose link can be found in the description area below this video. Scroll down until you get to 6th lesson. Pan your gaze to the right and you will find the shortcut link. As we gaze upon the top of the page, it does not say grain, it says gain. And no, I'm not referring to the laundry detergent. In previous lessons, I told you about the four bases of mindfulness and how there are two dualities surrounding each of those bases of mindfulness that are venal and petty. And the two dualities, venal and petty dualities pertaining to circumstance, are loss and gain. They are rooted and wired deep into our brainstem. Our job is not to pretend they're not there. Our job is not to talk shit to ourselves or scold ourselves for wanting food or shelter or clothing or employment. It is not wrong to desire these things. It is wired into us. What makes us good or bad is simply two things: whether we are aware of our desire for gain and whether we are not we are able to harness that desire. For instance, gasoline can be very, very dangerous if you light a match and drop it into a puddle of the stuff. However, it can be very useful when put into an ambulance. It can save lives. So we are going to play with 3 dynamic applications of the awareness of our innate desire for gain. We're going to begin with love. And of course, I've written a wonderful essay. In fact, I think tonight we'll have an essay about love, which is great. But needless to say, love is great when it affects our meditation, and love is also great when it affects our behavior. Let us choose to be loving people, even if it's inconvenient. When we notice our body breathing in, we're going to silently and mentally recite the intention, great gain 4, and then when we notice our body breathing out, we shall complete the intention, 1/4. 1/4 of what? 1/4 of all the denizens upon the earth. You could think of this like the face of a clock. From 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock is 1/4. From 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock is 2/4. From 12 o'clock to 9 o'clock is 3/4. And you guessed it, from 12 o'clock to 12 o'clock is the whole kit and caboodle. So, we are not trying to coerce ourselves into feeling certain things. When we try to force ourselves to feel, things go south pretty quick. But we can use words to gently guide our intention. We just like working out in the gym, we're dividing our meditations between sets and reps. And we're going to count sets on our left hand. Come, let us touch the tip of our left thumb to our left ring finger And slide that bad boy down to our left, to the lower set of creases. We're going to count upon the 3 sets of creases and tip of our right little finger. Great gain 4, 1/4. It's okay when things go on in your body, in your brain. It's not your job to chase after them. It's not your job to ignore them. Let them play out. It's kind of like eating your popcorn while watching the movie. You can't control what's on the screen, but you sure can enjoy the popcorn while you're watching what's going on the screen. A popcorn can be likened to what we recite silently and mentally during our in-breath. Our beverage can be likened to what we recite silently and mentally during our out-breath. The movie can be likened to all the sensations and flavors and scents and sights and sounds, as well as emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings that we experience simultaneously. Let us count upon the 3 sets of creases and tip of our right ring finger. Great gain 4, 2/4. And I want to take a moment to say hi to everyone who's joining for this live stream. If you want to introduce yourself in the chat, or ask a question, or concisely describe your most urgent need, you are utterly welcomed to do so. I guess welcome to do so is the proper conjugation. Let us count upon the 3 sets of creases and tip of our right middle finger. Great gain 4, 3/4. We want stuff. Everybody wants stuff. Our wanting of stuff unites us. It is the great common denominator. By sublimating our self-centered desire into the desire for the needs of our community members to be met, or our fellow earthlings to be met, or all beings of all worlds to be met. It's a wonderful way to increase our good karma, if there is such a thing. Let us count now upon our right index finger. Great gain 4, all quarters. Let us take a moment to advance our left thumb up our left ring finger to its middle set of creases. For now, we are departing the love training and entering into the wisdom training, wherein we wisely release the craving for the presence of gain through the lens of the 3 marks of existence. So, there is the impulse for gain, and then it's compounded by our intentions and emotions and memories and thoughts and fantasies. All these things kind of muck everything up. So we're going to practice exercises to help us let go. A tale is told by one of my teachers that after the Chinese invasion of Tibet, one of his fellow lamas was fleeing Tibet and got separated from his party and wound up in a land whose language he did not speak. Exhausted and defeated, he just resigned himself to find a hunter's shed where he could practice until he starved to death or died of dehydration. And so he found a shelter and started practicing. And some hunters hampered upon him, and they asked him what was going on, and he explained. They returned to the village, telling people that a holy man had taken up residence in his shelter, in their shelter. So a townswoman approached, and as she approached, the Lama sensed someone was coming. He went outside to greet her. And oddly enough, she spoke his dialect of Tibetan. And he asked her, just intuitively, have you been having nightmares? She had. He gave her wise counsel. She was elated. She went back to the town, told everyone what happened, and he never wanted for students or counseling. What's the word? Not patient, but counseling clients or donations. Later, he told one of my teachers that if someone truly practices the Buddha's path of awareness and love and letting go, they cannot starve to death. Whereas if someone's practice is continually striving after necessities, that's not necessarily the case. According to the teachings, there is a certain, shall I say, magic to letting go. Let us practice 3 contemplations, or I should say 4 contemplations, to help us let go of our factory-installed desire for gain. The first is viewing the desire for gain through the lens of dukkha, or the stress of strain, or the strain of stress. So we're going to ask a rhetorical question. We're going to divide this rhetorical question between our in-breath and our out-breath. How strain to reach for gain. Let's count this through. Let's count 4 repetitions of this upon our right little finger. We now turn our attention to our right ring finger. How could gain always change? Let's turn our attention to our right middle finger. How could gain not be me? We ask this question just to disrupt our habit of defining ourselves by the presence or absence of gain. And lastly, let us count upon the 3 creases and tip of our right index finger. Notice gain, relaxing. Our job is not to actually visualize or actively search for gain in our life. Our job is simply to silently and mentally recite these words in harmony with our breathing. Our choices and our behaviors and the ripples that regenerate that in turn affect the world around us. Choosing a cruelty-free diet is one of the easiest ways to diminish the suffering created by our consumer choices. The benefits generated by embracing a whole food vegan diet are not limited to non-human animals with whom we share the planet, nor even this planet itself, the only place in the known universe that we are certain sustains life for the time being. The physical and endocrinological and neurological and psychological benefits that we could savor on a whole food vegan diet have been observed in peer-reviewed scientific journals. In the parody song White and Nerdy, Weird Al Yankovic sings of a fellow who does calculus just for fun. Which reminds me of Dr. Michael Greger, MD, whose full-time job is to analyze every peer-reviewed nutrition-oriented study published in English every year, so we won't have to. This man is no ideologue content to twist facts in order to support his view. Rather, his top priority is to discover the dietary interventions that could prevent disease reverse disease, as well as increase the quality of life and longevity. Towards that end, he uses a meta-analysis to follow the facts wherever they lead, like a contemporary medical Sherlock Holmes. If Sherlock was so geeky as to name his book after the Monty Python skit, How Not to Be Seen. How Not to Die explores the top 15 causes of premature death in America. Secondly, shares a dozen things we could do to prevent and reverse these disorders. And thirdly, contains hundreds of citations to peer-reviewed studies. This book is a virtual panacea of all medical disorders. It is available on Amazon.com, both in print and in audio formats. And the Buddha Joy Meditation School receives absolutely no remuneration for your purchase of this life-saving book. As you practice these techniques on your own, questions will arise. You are in a wonderful position where you actually have a teacher who could answer your questions for you. All you have to do is jot those questions down, type them up either on Instagram as a direct message, or YouTube as a comment, or ask me at the beginning of the next live stream, and I'll be delighted to answer your questions as soon as I can, as best I can. If you have found value in these videos and live streams and podcasts and blog posts and class materials free, numerous and free to download, then please consider supporting this channel for as little as $1 a month by signing up to do so on PayPal using the link in the description area below the video. If you cannot afford to give $1 a month, then please support this channel for free by clicking the subscribe button and the bell-shaped notification button and the thumbs-up-shaped like button, as well as typing in a comment, concise yet germane. For these things really help with the algorithm. I shall conclude by dispelling the myth of the greedy monk, for in the Tibetan tradition, neither monks, nor yogis, nor even lamas are supported by monasteries. Au contraire, they must pay for room and board and supplies. And to that end, they are taught to collect themselves patrons, consisting of family and friends and students and even strangers. Those who are unable to collect patrons wander homeless. My friends, I thank you for your time and your kind attention. Until next we speak, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And to that ends, mask up, social distance, and wash your damn hands. Bye-bye now.